Best low-potassium foods for people with kidney disease. You're standing in the kitchen, staring at the fridge, and you genuinely don't know what's safe to eat anymore. Sound familiar? If your doctor has recently told you that your potassium levels are too high, figuring out what to put on your plate can feel really confusing. But here is the thing. The right foods are closer than you think. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the best low-potassium vegetables, fruits, everyday grains, and proteins that are safe and realistic for people living with kidney disease. Let's get into it. So let's start with vegetables, because this is where most people feel the most lost. Vegetables. When you find out your potassium needs to come down, it can feel like vegetables suddenly become the enemy. And that is genuinely frustrating, especially when you've always been told to eat more of them. But the truth is, there are plenty of vegetables that are naturally low in potassium, widely available, and really easy to work with in the kitchen. The first one worth knowing about is cabbage. Green cabbage in particular is a brilliant choice for anyone managing kidney disease. It's low in potassium, low in phosphorus, and it's one of those vegetables that works in almost any meal. You can stir-fry it, add it to soups, use it as a base for a simple side dish, or eat it raw in a salad. It's also very affordable, which matters when you're making long-term changes to the way you eat. Next up is cauliflower. This one has become really popular over the last few years, and for good reason. It's gentle on the kidneys, versatile in the kitchen, and surprisingly filling. You can roast it, steam it, mash it, or even blend it into soups to add body without adding a heavy potassium load. It's the kind of vegetable that quietly does a lot of good without making a fuss. Green beans are another solid option. They're low in potassium and easy to prepare, whether you're boiling them, steaming them, or tossing them in a pan with a little oil and seasoning. They add color and texture to a plate without putting extra pressure on your kidneys. Then there's cucumber. Fresh, light, and hydrating, cucumber is one of the lowest potassium vegetables you can eat. It works well in salads, as a snack with a light dip, or simply sliced alongside your main meal. Now here is something that not everyone knows, and it's genuinely useful. The way you prepare your vegetables can actually make a difference to how much potassium ends up in your meal. Peeling and boiling vegetables, then draining and discarding the water, is a simple method that can help reduce potassium content further. It won't remove it completely, but every small step adds up over time. The bigger picture here is this: eating well with kidney disease does not mean eating bland, boring food. It means learning which foods are working with your body rather than against it. And once you know that, shopping and cooking starts to feel a lot less stressful. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something personal. Have you or someone you love recently been told that potassium levels are too high and that your kidneys are struggling? Because if that's why you're here right now, I want you to know this channel exists specifically for you. If you're watching this to take better control of your kidney health through the food you eat every single day, make sure you subscribe to Kidney Health and turn on the notification bell. New guidance comes out regularly, and every video is made to give you clear, practical information you can actually use. And right now, in the comments, tell me this. Are you changing your diet because of a recent kidney diagnosis? Type yes if you are. Type still learning if you're here to get ahead of it before things get worse. I read every comment, and I genuinely want to understand where you are on this journey. Speaking of which, let's talk about something a lot of people assume they have to give up completely once kidney disease enters the picture. Fruit. This is the one that tends to catch people off guard. A lot of people with kidney disease are told to watch their potassium, and the first thing they do is clear out every piece of fruit in the house. Bananas go, oranges go. Anything that feels healthy suddenly feels suspicious. And while some fruits do carry a higher potassium load, the idea that you have to avoid fruit altogether is simply not true. There are some genuinely good options out there, and once you know what they are, fruit can absolutely stay part of your daily life. Let's start with apples. A fresh apple is one of the most kidney-friendly fruits you can reach for. It's low in potassium, easy to find year-round, and incredibly versatile. Eat it as a snack, slice it into porridge in the morning, or pair it with a small handful of nuts for something a little more satisfying. It's simple, familiar, and it works. Blueberries are another one worth getting excited about. They're naturally low in potassium and packed with plant compounds that support your overall health. A small handful added to yogurt or a bowl of cereal in the morning is a really easy way to enjoy something that feels a little special without any concern. Grapes are a great choice too. Both red and green grapes are low in potassium and make for a convenient snack that requires no preparation at all. They're light, refreshing, and easy to portion out, which brings us to something worth mentioning briefly. Portion size does matter, even with low potassium fruits. The goal isn't to avoid fruit, but to be a little mindful about how much you're having in one sitting. A reasonable portion of any of these fruits is perfectly fine. It's only when you're eating very large amounts in one go that the potassium starts to add up. So enjoy your fruit, just be sensible rather than excessive. Cranberries are also worth including here, particularly in unsweetened juice form or dried in small amounts. They've long been associated with urinary and kidney support, and they sit comfortably on the low potassium list as well. The shift in thinking that really helps here is moving away from the idea that kidney disease means restriction and moving towards the idea that it means making smarter, more informed choices. Fruit is not your enemy. Certain fruits just need a little more awareness around them than others. Once you start building your meals around foods that support your kidneys rather than strain them, the whole process begins to feel much more manageable. And that's exactly what we're going to look at in the next part, starting with the everyday staples that most of us build our meals around. Now let's talk about the foods that most of us quietly build every single meal around. Grains and staples are the foundation of daily eating for most people. Bread in the morning, rice or pasta at dinner, a few crackers as a snack. These are the foods that fill you up, keep you going, and make a meal feel like a proper meal. And the good news is that for people managing kidney disease, several of these everyday staples are actually on the safe side of the potassium scale. Let's start with white rice. It might not sound exciting, but white rice is genuinely one of the most kidney-friendly carbohydrates you can eat. It's low in potassium, easy to digest, and endlessly flexible in the kitchen. Pair it with some of the vegetables and proteins we'll be covering shortly, and you have the base of a meal that is both satisfying and safe. White pasta works in much the same way. A bowl of pasta made from refined white flour carries significantly less potassium than whole grain versions, which is something worth knowing if you've recently been advised to switch away from whole grains. This might feel like you're going backwards from a health perspective, but for someone with elevated potassium levels, it's actually the more sensible choice right now. White bread follows the same principle. Whole grain and seeded breads, while often promoted as the healthier option for the general population, tend to be higher in potassium and phosphorus. For kidney disease specifically, white bread is the more appropriate option. A couple of slices in the morning or alongside a meal is perfectly reasonable. Plain crackers are also worth keeping in your kitchen. They're low in potassium, easy to portion, and useful when you need something quick and light. Look for plain varieties without added seeds, nuts, or heavy seasoning, as those additions can quietly increase the potassium content. One thing people often ask is whether switching to these refined options means giving up on feeling healthy. It's a fair concern. But it's important to understand that managing kidney disease is about finding the right balance for your specific situation. What works for someone without kidney problems does not automatically work for someone whose kidneys are under pressure. Your body's needs have shifted, and your food choices simply need to reflect that. The goal is still to eat well, feel well, and enjoy your meals. These staples give you a steady, filling foundation to build from, and that matters more than most people realize. With your grains and staples sorted, there is one more piece of the daily meal puzzle that needs attention, and it's one that often comes with its own set of questions when kidney disease is involved. So you've got your vegetables, your fruits, and your everyday staples. Now let's talk about protein, because this is where a lot of people with kidney disease start to feel genuinely uncertain. Protein is something the body needs every single day. It helps repair tissue, supports muscle, keeps your energy steady, and plays a quiet but important role in how you feel overall. The concern that comes up with kidney disease is that some high-protein foods can put extra strain on kidneys that are already working harder than they should be. And layered on top of that, certain protein sources also carry a higher potassium content, which adds another layer of consideration. But here is the reassuring part. There are several protein sources that sit comfortably within a kidney-friendly diet, and they are foods that most people already know and enjoy. Eggs are a really good place to start. They are low in potassium, widely available, affordable, and genuinely easy to cook in so many different ways. Scrambled, boiled, poached, or made into a light omelet with some of the kidney-friendly vegetables we talked about earlier. Eggs are a reliable daily protein that quietly does a lot of good without causing concern. Chicken is another strong option, particularly when it is fresh rather than processed. Plain cooked chicken breast is low in potassium and high in usable protein. It works in salads, alongside rice, in a simple broth, or as the main part of an evening meal. It's familiar, filling, and easy to prepare in ways that keep things interesting rather than repetitive. White fish is worth paying attention to as well. Options like cod, haddock, and sole are low in potassium and provide a lighter source of protein that is gentle on the digestive system. Fish also brings a welcome change of texture and flavor to the weekly routine, which helps when you're making long-term adjustments to the way you eat. For those who prefer a plant-based option, tofu is a practical choice. It absorbs flavor well, works in a variety of dishes, and is lower in potassium compared to many other plant-based proteins like beans and lentils, which tend to carry a much heavier potassium load. A gentle reminder worth making here is that even with kidney-friendly proteins, portion size plays a role. You don't need to eat huge amounts at each meal. A moderate, consistent intake spread across the day is far more beneficial than loading up on protein in one sitting. Think of these proteins not as limitations, but as dependable building blocks for meals you can genuinely look forward to. Combine them with everything else covered in this video, and you are already creating a way of eating that supports your kidneys rather than challenges them. If what you're learning here is helping you see your food choices in a clearer, less stressful way, please take 1 second right now and hit the like button. That one small action does something really important. It tells the platform to show this video to other people who are quietly sitting at home, staring at their kitchen, feeling lost and overwhelmed after a kidney diagnosis. People who desperately need this information but have no idea where to find it. Your like could be the reason the right person finds this video today. Please don't scroll past that button. Now let's bring all of this together in a way that makes it easy to carry forward. Let's take a moment to bring it all together, because when you look at everything covered in this video, something important becomes clear. Eating well with kidney disease is not about removing everything you enjoy. It's about understanding which foods are genuinely on your side and building your daily meals around those choices. You now know that vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, green beans, and cucumber are safe, accessible, and easy to cook with. You know that fruit does not have to disappear from your life, and that apples, blueberries, grapes, and cranberries are all comfortable options when eaten with a little awareness around portion size. You've seen that everyday staples like white rice, white pasta, white bread, and plain crackers give you a filling, reliable foundation that works with your kidneys rather than against them. And you know that proteins like eggs, chicken, whitefish, and tofu can keep you nourished and satisfied without pushing your potassium levels in the wrong direction. That is a genuinely solid base to work from. What tends to happen when people first receive a kidney disease diagnosis or a warning about high potassium is that food becomes a source of anxiety rather than nourishment. Every label feels like a threat. Every meal feels like a risk. And that weight, that constant second-guessing, can be exhausting. But awareness changes that. Once you know what works, the confusion starts to lift. You walk into the kitchen with a clearer sense of direction. You pick up items in the shop with more confidence. You stop feeling like you're navigating something impossible and start feeling like someone who is genuinely taking care of themselves. That shift does not happen overnight. It builds gradually, meal by meal, choice by choice. And the small, consistent decisions you make each day add up to something meaningful over time. That is true for kidney health. And honestly, it is true for most things worth taking care of. If this video has helped you feel even a little more informed and a little less overwhelmed, then it has done exactly what it was meant to do. If you found it useful, save it so you can come back to it whenever you need a reminder. Share it with someone you know who might be going through something similar, because sometimes the most helpful thing you can do for another person is simply point them in the right direction. And if you want to keep building on what you've learned here, subscribe to the channel. There is plenty more straightforward, honest kidney health guidance coming, all of it made with the same goal in mind, to help you feel informed, supported, and genuinely confident in the choices you make for your health. Take good care of yourself. You're doing better than you think.